I did a video in which I talked about a gentleman on social media that I mistook for a Trumper. And I said in the video, he's not a Trumper. Turns out he's a real American. An actual American, I guess is what I said. I think is what I said. And this person is one of a couple of people that have come in and said, so you're saying that anyone that voted for Trump is not an American? That is not true. But that is the way you think. Technically, you're an American. Time for some breakfast. Technically, you're an American. You're a citizen of the United States. You were born here, probably, would be my guess, or at least naturalized. And yeah, technically speaking, you're an American, but you're not an American. If you support Donald Trump, you do not believe in American ideals. You do not believe in the American way of life. You do not believe in the American rule of law. You do not believe in America's institutions. You don't believe in the Constitution. You say you do. And you will portray yourself as somebody who's a constitutionalist. You'll tell people that they should follow the law and obey the rules and just comply. And we have a constitution for a reason. But you support a man who defies the Constitution every single day, who goes against what our Constitution and our founding values stand for. You support a man who is rounding up people off of American streets and shipping them off the country, sometimes countries they've never been to, without due process. That's unconstitutional. That is not how we do it in America. You're supporting a man who is trying to silence news organizations and reporters that he doesn't like because they write unflattering stories about him. That's not what we do in America. You support a man who is currently extorting and extorting and leaning on colleges and universities in order to get them to do things the way he wants to. That is not what we do in America. You support a man who denies people their constitutional right to present for refugee status at our borders. That's not what we do in America. You support a man who defies and goes against everything America stands for. You support a man who is the only president in American history to not allow a peaceful transfer of power because he sent an armed mob to the Capitol building to stop the certification of a fair and free election to install himself as a dictator over the will of the people. You support a man who's the only president to ever try to overthrow his own government. That's not American. Not in the least bit. Furthermore, you support, I would assume if you support Trump, you support a party in the Republican Party that denied a sitting two-term president the ability to even have hearings on a Supreme Court nominee for almost a year. You say you're American, but you're not. You're an American citizen, but you don't stand for anything America is or has been. You stand for autocratic rule. You stand for theocratic rule. You stand for fascist rule. You don't stand for the American way of life. So you're goddamn right. If you voted for Trump, in my mind, you're not an American. And just a little PS here, it doesn't matter how many red, white, and blue pajamas you own or how many American Eagle tattoos or We the People tattoos you own or have on your body. It doesn't matter how many thin blue line or thin blue line Punisher stickers you have on your lifted pickup truck. Saying you're American and being an American are sometimes two different things. If you want us to start thinking of you as Americans again, then start acting like fucking Americans.